Hello and welcome to the Model 401, and today we're on issue 3 of Titanic, the ship, the legend. Okay, so with this issue we have the engine room parts and the smokestack. The first one, the smoke generator. These are the parts of the kit. And those two have the magazine here as well. So let's have a quick look at the magazine. Okay, so with this magazine, we only have two sections of the issue. We have the Giant of the Sea and the step-by-step instructions. At the bottom here, you can see issue 4, which is the extra parts of the hull from the first issue we had, or the second issue we had before. So this one is a cry for help. And here you can see distress signals that were sent out whilst the sinking was occurring. Full speed ahead, security on ocean liners, and one of the lifeboats here going back to the ship. As you can see at the bottom here, we do have Mrs. Rosenberg's pig, which is Edith's pig, one of the famous passengers of the ship, who went back on the ship to get this little pig as she wouldn't go anywhere without it. And also here you have this engine and smoke generator. These are all the parts of the issue that we get. And again, step-by-step instructions on how to assemble the kit. And the last page is how to do the smoke generator. Okay, so for the first steps, what we're going to need to do is attach the right cylinders to the columns. So I'm just going to do that for you now. And we also need the BM screws for this. So with your trusty little screwdriver that you got with issue 2, you want to take these small BM screws and you want to attach the cylinder parts to the connecting part. So let me see which one we've got here. On the inside, I don't know how well you can see this, it'll say R4, R3, R2 and R1. So these are what we need to do. We need to take the left section and take parts 3A, 3B, 3C and 3D, which are the columns here. That's the right side and the left side, and we need to attach them on here. Now these will correspond, so you just need to attach them in and clip them in. This one has got a very small little knob here which it will connect into as well. So once you've got that connected in, what we want to do is get one of your screws, screw it into this little hole here. Nice and tightly. Just make sure that's quite secured in there. Take part 2. Now this one doesn't have any connection in it, just connects to this bit here, and a little knob there as well. See this go straight in. Make sure it's right, nice and tight. So you have number 3, which goes into L3, just here. So again, you want to connect that in, and then screw it in. sure it's nice and tight, because you don't want your pieces moving around when you're assembling it. The last one here, which is L4, again, we'll go into this little slot here. Just want to make sure that's pushed in nice and securely. And that should be your left side of the engine done. What I'm going to do now is repeat the same thing on the right side. Okay, and as you can see, now the cylinders are on top of the columns. Now, what you don't want to do is what I did originally and put on these in the reverse order. I put R1 on R4 by mistake. Just make sure that when you are putting them on, you are putting them on correctly, as it can cause issues later on down the line. Okay, so the next step is to use the cylinder shaft and also the rods. So what I want to do first is put on those rods with the cylinder shafts. Now these sort of go in a particular way, so you want to put them facing up so that both the cylinder side of the rods are facing upwards for the drive shafts. I'm just going to put these down here. Again, take another one. Face them up and clip them in. Facing up, clip them in. Facing up, and click them in. There we go. Nicely done. I just want to put this down here for now. Okay, so now you want to take the drive shaft. You want to make sure that your drive shaft is facing this way. From there, you're going to take the first step, put this on and clip it underneath onto the first section. From there, you want to skip this one, put it onto the third one, underneath like that. Then you want to skip the fourth and fifth one, put the next drive shaft onto the sixth, skip the seventh and put the next rod on the eighth. And that should have all four rods connected to the shaft, like so. Now, once that is done, okay, so now that is done, what we want to do is take out the right side, I believe it is, the left side, sorry, of the columns, turn it around this way, and then we need to attach these into the little gaps between. So there should be little holes just in the top of these rods for these to go. So then I'm just going to sink this in. Hopefully, if I fold that down, they should all line up perfectly. like so. So now you should have your 2 cylinders at the bottom here. What we're going to have to do is flip them on top of each other. Let's move this further up. Make sure the shafts are in the right place and connected. And we're going to put this on top and then clip it in. There we go. So it's now all been attached in. You should have the cylinder at the bottom, a bit loose, a bit swingy, but there we have it. Okay, so the next step is to take these 2 components here, which will be 3L and 3M. Now, there's 2 differences between this. One's bigger and one's shorter. So the big one here, which is 3L, and 3M, which is the smaller one. So with this, what we need to do is flip this around, like so. I'm going to put 3M and click this into here. Now, due to the size, these should only fit in one way. So you know if you're putting the wrong one in the wrong spot. And then we also want to put the other one on top. But just make sure your rod is over it. There we go. So that'll be the rod in place. Now with this, what you also want to do is take these back bits. So there are 2 back bits as well. One has got a little oval on top, and the other one's a flat one. The one with the oval is 3P, and the one that's got a flat top is 3O. 3O is slightly longer as well. So with 3O, I'm going to put this at the far end. Now I'm going to push the shaft forward. Just going to stand on the top. And again, 3M. Make sure your shaft doesn't go out, like so. Slide that down for a second. And with that, we also need to put in the CM screws. So again, just put this shaft back into the old grooves. Take the last bit here, put that on. And with these screws, what we want to do is get them back into these slots and screw that in. Now this side, you want to make sure the oval bit is facing towards the main engine. And then again, screw that in. Now they're screwed in, like I said, you do want to make sure they're quite tight. Just make sure they're not coming loose at all. The next step is to add the small cog at the bottom. Again, it's got a weird oval shape and a flat bit inside. So you just want to match that with this. That should screw on quite perfectly. And then when you rotate, that should rotate all the engines as well. Nicely done. And that is your main engine done for now. I just recommend you might want to glue this in. At the moment I've got to hold it there just to ensure that all the parts that go with the kit also fit in, just because there's going to be some adjustment that needs to be made. These alignments with additional parts that get added on later on. So for now, I'm going to leave that. Which then leads us on to the final bit, which is the smoke generator. And what you need to do is take this little coil wire, just thread that out, and then put this into this little slot here. So the 2 pins go into these 2 pins at the top, they clip in, it should fit in that shaft perfectly, and there you have it. And once that goes on, it'll show work. Put some batteries in, put a damp cloth underneath, not soaking, just a slight damp one underneath that, and hopefully you should get some steam off that and smoke off it afterwards. And again, we have some spare screws here, which I'll keep on the side for later. And there you have it, issue 3 of Titanic by Hachette, the ship of the legend. We have the engine and the smoke generator there, all done, ready for the next steps. So thank you for watching the Model 401, and I'll look to see you in the next issue.